The Galactic Council had been in session for 3 days, and Ambassador Elena Vasquez was done being polite. She sat at the designated Lesser Species section of the chamber, watching the Corvani delegation swagger about the circular hall. Their leader, Executor Thane, stood at an impressive 9 feet tall, his scaled form radiating barely concealed contempt as he addressed the assembly. "The humans request membership in the Galactic Council," Thane announced, his voice dripping with amusement. "They offer nothing but their primitive technology and violent history. They've barely left their own system. They still use chemical rockets." Laughter rippled through the chamber. The Etherian ambassador's crystalline form chimed in agreement. The void dancers flickered their approval. Even the typically neutral Makani buzzed their circuits in what passed for mockery. Elena remained seated, her translator faithfully converting every insult. Her aide, David Park, leaned over. "Ambassador, should we?" "Not yet," she murmured, taking notes on her tablet. Thane continued his performance. "They seek our protection because they know their prey. Look at them, soft skin, no claws, weak muscles. They can barely survive their own world, let alone the cosmos. I vote we deny their application and designate Earth as a protectorate. For their own safety, of course." More laughter. The Corvani had conquered 40 systems, and their military might was legendary. When they spoke, the council listened. "Furthermore," Thane added, gesturing dismissively toward Elena, "they send a female to negotiate. They don't even respect their own hierarchy enough to send a proper warrior diplomat. How can we take them seriously?" Elena stopped writing. "The human delegation may respond," the council moderator intoned, clearly expecting a brief statement before the inevitable rejection. Elena closed her tablet and placed her hands flat on the table. The simple gesture somehow drew every eye in the chamber. Then she stood up. The laughter died instantly. Elena Vasquez stood 6 feet tall, unremarkable by human standards, but something in her movement made the room feel suddenly smaller. She walked to the center of the chamber with measured steps, each one echoing in the silence. "Executor Thane," she said, her voice carrying without amplification. "You speak of strength. Let me tell you about strength." She pulled up her sleeve, revealing scars. "See these? I got them pulling children from a collapsed building after an earthquake. Bare hands. No claws needed." Thane shifted, suddenly uncomfortable. "You mention our soft skin," Elena continued. "This soft skin survived in deserts that would desiccate your scales, in Arctic conditions that would freeze your cold blood solid. We evolved on a death world, Executor. While you were developing on your garden paradise, we were learning to survive everything our planet threw at us." She began to circle Thane, and the massive alien found himself turning to keep her in view. "You say we're not warriors? We've been at war with our environment, with predators, with disease, with each other, for millions of years. We didn't stop fighting. We got better at it." "Your chemical rockets?" Elena smiled, and several ambassadors stepped back. "We rode controlled explosions into space because we were too impatient to wait for better technology. We strapped ourselves to bombs and aimed for the stars. Tell me, Executor, would your species have that kind of courage?" The chamber was tomb silent now. "And yes, they sent a woman. Because on Earth, Executor, we learned long ago that strength comes in many forms. I've given birth to 3 children, an experience that would kill most males of any species from pain alone. I've led soldiers in combat. I've negotiated treaties while missiles fell around the building. I stand before you not as prey, but as a representative of a species that looked at an uncaring universe and said, 'We belong here.'" She returned to face Thane directly. The height difference seemed to have somehow reversed. "You want to designate us as a protectorate? By all means, try. Send your fleets to Earth. We have 7 billion humans who've been preparing for first contact our entire existence. We've imagined every possible invasion scenario. We've made entertainment out of fighting aliens. Our children play games about it." Elena pulled out her tablet and displayed an image. "This is a human marine, one of millions. They train in environments that would kill most of your species just for the morning workout. They learn to use weapons from every culture, improvise tools from anything, survive on any terrain. And they're not even our elite forces. She looked around the chamber, meeting every gaze. We don't seek your protection. We seek membership because we prefer cooperation to conquest. But make no mistake, humanity is not prey. We're the species that took a hostile world and made it ours. We're the species that split the atom before we cured the common cold. We're the species that broadcasts our location into the void, daring the universe to come find us. Elena returned to her seat and sat down. We await your decision. The vote was unanimous. Humanity was welcomed into the Galactic Council that day, and Executor Thane was the first to cast his vote in favor. Later, he would tell his subordinates, "When the humans stood up, I understood. They don't need claws. They have something far more dangerous. They have will."